playing Billy's Bounce, or Monk playing Blue Monk. Look at that while I'm playing here. So the first example, I'll write out 3 examples, and you know, blues is always thought of as 3 4-bar stanzas. So here's 3 examples of the first measure. Here's first 4 measures. Here's 3 examples of the second 4 measures, and 3 examples of the third 4 measures. And the idea being that, you know, 1 would go to 1, would go to 1, 2 would go to 2, although mixing and matching is also possible in some circumstances. But let's look at the second one. Let me remember what I wrote here because there's so many possible variations. So the second one, I go to the 4 chord in the second measure. 2, 3, 4, and maybe go to the 6. And here's a big change. Instead of going 5, 4, 1, go 2, 5, 1, 5. See that? So 2, 5, 1, 5, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the third example is getting closer and closer to the way like Charlie Parker would play, and I'll even use a melody of his. 4. Now in this measure, in measure 4, that's a 2-5 of the 4 chord. So you have to think of it as 2-5 of F, because that's really what's happening. And this is understandable. If you think back to like the really early blues, a lot of times what you would see is a triad for the first 3 measures. And then in the 4th measure, throw in that 7. And that prepares the motion okay, that prepares you to move to the 4 chord. The 5 then becomes a secondary dominant. Blues is really the only music where we've come to accept like a dominant 1 chord right on the first measure. Most standard tunes, that something would just sound not right. But blues, we've really come to accept that sound. So you got a 2-5, the 4 chord. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, that's a little Red Garland lick that he uses on that particular progression. 4, sharp 4, 1, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5. So that's a Charlie Parker melody called Billy's Bounce, based on this third version, pretty much, was the way I was playing it. You'll also notice here, coming around to the 1 chord, a lot of the bebop players started doing this thing. I'll play from the 4 chord, where they would play a major 7 sound. So it just gave it a nicer flavor. And you'll hear all sorts of people doing different things. Wynton Kelly used to like to come around from that, and he'd play this. Or he would play a major triad, a D major triad over that C chord, you know. And then he'd resolve it, he'd make it sound good. Okay, so that's
great.